In the desert of northwestern Saudi Arabia, near an oasis that has been inhabited for 90,000 years, there is a single boulder that the internet cannot stop arguing about. It stands about 20 feet tall and 30 feet wide. Two great blocks of sandstone, sitting side by side on small natural pedestals. And running straight down the center is a gap, pencil thin. Almost perfectly vertical. So clean, so smooth, so exact, that you could not slide a sheet of paper through it. No tool marks, no chisel scars, no sign of how it was done. For the last 10 years, millions of people online have been told a story about this rock, that it was cut by a laser, or by a machine we lost, or by something that was never human at all. Today, we are going to do something different. We are going to look at what is actually true. Because the most popular explanation for this stone is not just wrong, it has quietly hidden the far more interesting story underneath it. The rock is called Naslaa. It sits in the desert south of Tayma, in Tabuk province, in the far northwest of the kingdom. Tayma itself is one of the oldest settled places on Earth, and we will come back to that, because it matters more than you think. But first, the story you have probably already heard. Search for this rock online, and you will find the same claims repeated again and again. That the cut is too straight to be natural. That nature does not make right angles. That the only thing capable of slicing a boulder this cleanly is a laser, or a saw of enormous power, and since neither existed in the ancient world, the answer must be something beyond it. Visitors, technology that has been lost, a civilization erased from the record. And here is the part that keeps people watching. At first glance, that theory is hard to argue with. You stand in front of this rock, you look at that line, and your own eyes tell you a human being must have done it. Maybe more than human. So why are nearly all of those confident explanations completely false? Stay with me, because the truth is stranger, and it has been sitting in plain sight the entire time. Let us be honest about why this rock fools people. Because it genuinely is unusual. The two halves are almost mirror images. The faces on either side of the gap are flat and smooth. The line between them runs nearly the entire height of the stone, without wandering, without curving, without the jagged stepping you would expect from a rock that simply cracked apart. And the two blocks do not lean. They do not sag inward to close the gap, the way two heavy stones normally would over time. They hold their positions, perfectly upright, as if something is keeping them apart on purpose. Most natural rocks break the way a dropped plate breaks messily, at angles, in pieces. This one looks measured. So if it were just an oddly straight crack, that would be one thing. But Naslaa has a second feature that makes the mystery deeper, and it is the detail that convinces people the rock is floating. We need to talk about what it is standing on. Each half of Naslaa does not sit flat on the ground. It balances on a slim base, a narrow stone pedestal, thinner than the block resting on top of it. Photograph it from the right angle, and the rock appears to hover. The bases nearly disappear. And that single illusion has launched 1,000 theories about anti-gravity, about levitation, about builders who knew secrets we have forgotten. Hold that thought, because it is the first thread we are going to pull. These narrow-based shapes have a name. Geologists call them mushroom rocks, or pedestal rocks. And they are not rare. They appear in deserts on every continent in the American Southwest, in the Sahara, in Central Asia. Which raises an uncomfortable question for the laser theory. If a slim stone pedestal is proof of lost technology, then that same technology would have to have been used in deserts all over the planet by people who never met. That is a great deal of coincidence to accept. So, let us put the popular explanations on the table and test them honestly one by one. Theory 1. A fault line. The idea that the rock sits on a crack in the earth and that movement deep underground split it. This one is actually closer to the truth than the others, but on its own, it does not explain why the two halves stayed so smooth and so evenly spaced. Theory 2. Ancient stonemasons, people with hardened tools, patiently cutting the stone in two. The trouble is, there are no tool marks. None, no chisel scars, no drill holes, no wedge slots, none of the evidence that masons always leave behind. And there is no reason anyone would split a desert boulder this way and then simply walk off without using it for anything. Theory 3. The laser. The alien. The lost machine. This is the one that travels the furthest online, and it is the one supported by the least evidence of all. Not a single artifact. Not a single tool. Not one trace of any technology anywhere near this rock, ever. Before we reveal the answer, which theory did you believe walking in? Tell us in the comments. Here is what the geologists who have actually studied this formation say. And it is not a laser. The cut began as something called a joint. In geology, a joint is a natural fracture that forms inside a rock when stress builds up from pressure, from temperature changes, from the ground settling over enormous spans of time. Unlike a normal break, the two sides of a joint do not slide past each other. They simply separate. And joints can run remarkably, almost unnervingly, straight, because they follow lines of weakness already built into the stone. That is the first piece. The rock did not need a tool to start the line. The line was always there, waiting inside the stone. Then came the wind. The Saudi desert is one of the most relentless sandblasting environments on Earth. Wind carries fine grains of sand at speed, and over thousands of years, that sand pours through any narrow opening like water through a crack in a dam. The gap became a wind tunnel. The blowing sand scoured both faces smooth and widened the opening evenly, on both sides at once. That is why the two surfaces look polished, and why the gap is so uniform. And the pedestals? The same wind. Sand-laden gusts blow fastest close to the ground, where they cut hardest into the base of a rock. The bottom erodes faster than the top. Over time, you are left with a wide block balanced on a slimmer base, a mushroom rock. No anti-gravity required, just wind, sand, and patience measured in millennia. Put those three forces together, a natural fracture, relentless wind, and an unimaginable amount of time, and you do not need a laser. You need geology. Now that explains the cut. But it does not explain the most important thing about this rock. And it is the thing the laser story made everyone stop looking for. Look at the face of Naslaa, not the gap, the surface, and you will see something the dramatic photographs almost always crop out. Carvings, engravings cut into the sandstone by human hands. A horse, of the kind we now call the Arabian, one of the oldest breeds still alive today. The curved horns of an ibex. The figure of a person. These are real. These are unmistakably human. And here is the irony at the heart of the whole story. The one part of this rock that was genuinely shaped by people is the part the laser theory taught everyone to ignore. We do not know exactly when these carvings were made. They are believed to be thousands of years old. They were left by people who lived in this desert, who knew these animals, and who chose this particular landmark, this strange, split, already ancient boulder to mark. Think about that. The split was probably already there when they arrived. To them, Naslaa was not a mystery to be solved. It was a place worth remembering. And this is where the real story finally opens up. Because Naslaa does not stand in an empty desert. It stands beside Tayma, and Tayma is extraordinary. People have lived in this oasis for around 90,000 years. By the 3rd millennium before Christ, it was a walled city protected by one of the largest fortifications in all of Bronze Age Arabia. It sat on the Great Incense Road, the trade route that carried frankincense and myrrh north out of Arabia. Caravans rested here. Assyrian kings recorded tribute coming from Tayma as far back as the 8th century BC. And in the 6th century BC, this remote oasis became home to a king, Nabonidus, the last ruler of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. The Empire of Babylon itself left his capital and lived here at Tayma for 10 years. In this desert, far from his throne. The inscriptions found here are written in half a dozen ancient scripts. One carved stone, the famous Tayma stele, now sits in the Louvre in Paris. A separate carving near here bears the name of the Egyptian Pharaoh Ramesses III, the first confirmed Egyptian hieroglyphic inscription ever found on Saudi soil. So consider what the laser story cost us. It took one strange rock, told a thrilling story that was not true, and in doing so, it walked right past one of the oldest and richest human landscapes on Earth. You know, there is a lesson in this rock that has nothing to do with lasers. The most popular story about Naslaa was the most exciting one. And it was wrong. Not because the people who shared it were foolish, but because the real answer asks something the dramatic answer never does. It asks us to be patient, to accept that wind and stone and time, given enough of all three, can produce something that looks, for all the world, deliberate. Nature is the oldest craftsman we have, and it does not leave tool marks. The cut in this rock was made by the desert. The carvings on it were made by people who are long gone, in a place that was already ancient when Babylon's last king came to live here. None of that needed to be invented. It was true the whole time. It was simply quieter than the lie. Thank you so much for watching today. If you found this worthwhile, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe. It truly helps us bring more of these stories to you. And here is a question for the comments. What is the most convincing ancient mystery you once believed before you found out it had an ordinary explanation? We read every single one. Until next time, stay curious and never stop asking questions.